Hello everyone, it's Michelle Berkheimer again, and I am here with Gentry. This is basically a part 2 of our first interview, and so in this video we're just going to be speaking about ministry and how to hear from the Lord and what that looks like. And when the Lord does show you something, whether it's in your visions or dreams, how to navigate through that, because it is so vital to hear the voice of the Lord and discern between His voice and the enemies. So, Bill, can you share with us how your ministry works? And
Yeah. So basically, as I mentioned before, in 1999, I had this the dream in my heart to establish orphanages all over the world, and to specifically help the kids to stay out of human trafficking, drugs, crime, and all of these horrible things that pretty much are the future for most orphans worldwide. It's pretty bleak. And so what God has impressed on my heart through the Learning to Love Foundation now is to establish loving and creative environments where orphans can be transformed in their body, their soul, and their spirit, so that they can become empowered sons and daughters of God.
that's good.
And so it doesn't matter where the environment is. So if it's a school type setting, a home type setting, or a playground setting, or whatever, we want to make sure that it's loving and creative, because one of the big things about orphans when I was praying about it is I was really clear to me their creativity has been stolen from them. And they have all these gifts and things inside, but they have no idea of their potential because they think so small and so lowly of themselves, They feel unwanted, rejected, and unintelligent, not gifted, It's just a complete mindset of failure. And so what I noticed is in working with the orphans, they give up so quickly. Like if they do it one time and it doesn't work, they don't try again, because the devil has them in a defeated mindset.
Fear of failure.
And totally. And also through that failure is rejection. So they're sensing, okay, I just failed now, I'm not good enough, And so God has shown me through that, okay, your goal, your mission is to create a safe, loving, but creative environment. So surround them with creativity of all shapes and forms, whether that's people who write or dance or sing or play instruments or do video editing, or entrepreneurs, or any kind of person who kind of thinks creatively, to try to get that spark back into their hearts, because it's there. It just needs to be ignited again, because it's like it's been covered and hidden. And so that's a real mission that God has given me. And the vision is to create self-sustaining mission spaces. By that I mean ones that don't require donations from people. And the way to do that God has shown me is to start businesses. Because particularly in Ukraine, the average person lives off $300 a month. They get paid maybe $1 an hour, So, but the costs are about the same as the United States. So you can imagine what that would look like in America if you're living off $300 a month. And so they don't have cars, they have no potential to ever own a house or any of these kind of, things. And so what he's shown me is the number one skill that we can impart to them is English. Because if they know English, they can actually make, 5 to 10 times more income. So English for Orphans is our number one program. And people can do that via Skype or some other means. They don't actually have to come to Ukraine or some other country to teach an orphan English. It just requires time and some patience. But we're establishing that program right now, and I'm really excited about it.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah. So and this is how God leads you. Like you see what's in front of your face. So whoever He's put you in front of, that's the one you're supposed to minister to, right? And you will notice things. And what the Holy Spirit does with me is like I either notice it with my eye or I keep hearing it, right? So you keep hearing. So maybe in my case, a child might keep saying, well, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. And so he's exposing from his own heart by his mouth the lie that he's believing. And so you have to say, okay, how am I going to, God, how am I going to address this? And so he shows you, you know what? They can have a better future if they know English. They can have a better future if they're around creative people to get that spark back inside of them again and encourage them. And like I said, I see with my own boys now, one was number one in his class, another one's in the top 5 of his class, another one's going to Bible school to be a missionary now. God can transform them very quickly in the way that they think, so that they see themselves as sons and not as orphans.
Wow, that's good, yes, because Bill has 4 boys.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot, but God willing, he will have many more orphanages.
Yeah. I mean, the children are literally unlimited, so it's not about that, but it's about having the people resources to minister to them, And God has to provide those people in the right time and place, and he will. And that's how growth comes about organically.
That's good. Yeah, because when I used to do a lot of volunteer work in the community with the Junior League of Greater Orlando and then ministry work, when I was learning about orphans in the foster care system, after they age out, which is at the age of 18, 1 in 2 is incarcerated in the first 2 years. The first 2 years, because they are not given the opportunity to learn how to function properly in society. And what they end up doing is they return to things that maybe they knew prior or what is available in order for them to survive on the streets. So it could be prostitution, drug dealing, becoming a gang member. These things happen every day. And so it's really sad. And if they're not given the encouragement like you were speaking about, then they are going to think less of themselves. They're going to think, well, I am not capable of doing that, or I do not deserve that, or how can I progress towards achieving something? And so I think that is just amazing what Bill, you are doing, because in order for those children to succeed, it's a whole rounded approach that you have to take in order to help them succeed. It's not just like a one thing, like, well, we're just going to provide for you, but that does nothing. Instead, a hand up instead of a hand out is so much more important, because then they learn how to function. And if they're given the encouragement and their self-esteem is built up and they're provided for, with those essential needs, that's their priority. Number one is our main needs being taken care of. And statistics show that if those basic needs are not met, then children do not thrive. And so, because they're so concerned with just surviving, that education is not even something on their mind. And a lot of them end up failing, and so that's good.
Yeah, it's like the one boy who was number one in his class, he had failed his whole grade the year before he came with me. And so it was actually spoken over him to me from someone else, oh, he can't go to that school you want to send him to, he's not smart enough. And I said, no, he is smart enough. I know, I've spoken with him, I've encountered him. He has the ability, he just needs the encouragement and the love, that safety to want to do it and to feel safe to have a purpose in doing it, And you talk about how do we discern God's will and how does he lead us. And, before I went to Ukraine, a friend of mine had mentioned to me about teenagers here in the United States who were being sex trafficked on the streets, but then nobody would take them into their home as a foster situation because they've been sex trafficked. And my comment to him was, well, I would do that except for I can't take a girl. And he said, no, we have boys. So, right here in Orlando, Florida, we have girls and boys, teenagers, being human trafficked on the streets. And even when they're rescued, nobody wants them. So through
Finding
that,
a big house.
yeah, through that, I signed up for the foster parenting classes, 4-month class for adoption and foster parenting, and I learned a lot of the things like what you're talking about the abused mindset, the broken mindset, the types of things that abuse does to a young person. And so I learned a lot from that, even though it was all from obviously a secular point of view. But they denied me to have a child here because my viewpoints were too Christian when they interviewed me about how I would handle raising a child. And so I was like, God, why did you send me to this class and then get me rejected? Like, that was 4 months of my life just wasted.
Nothing's wasted.
But you got to learn this lesson, and God never wastes your time.
That's right.
He never wastes your time.
That's right.
So it looked like a failure. It looks like defeat. You got to understand this too when working with God and how to discern His will and His voice. Is so many times what you thought from God looks like defeat. It looks like failure, and you think, okay, I just need to give up on that. But no, it's because that's part of the training. That's part of the equipping. You have to it's going to test your heart to see, number one, will you obey even though it doesn't bear fruit right away? But also you got to trust Him that He's not going to waste your time and that He's going to still use that in some way. Now, little did I know that later that same year is when I would go to Ukraine. And so, but God knew that, right?
That's good.
He knew. And so He was training me and equipping me so that I would have more knowledge and a basis to be a better caregiver to you.
Yes, definitely, yeah, because you were not prior to that. But the interesting thing too is that the Lord had placed in your path someone or some people to disciple before. I remember, and you called like your little brother, and that was just like a process. Learning. Okay, can I entrust you with one? And then you pass that, and you're able to take care of my sheep with the one. But Bill also does pastor sometimes at a church, which he was before full time.
Yeah, well, I've literally been discipling those young men type thing now for pretty much 30 years. Doing everything from Big Brothers program to being an advisor out to the University of Central Florida to, God is training and equipping and teaching you skills and abilities, and there's a level of maturity that's required, when you're dealing with His precious children. It's great to just, anybody can just go love on a child, and that I encourage greatly. Come to Ukraine, love on the children. You don't need any special skills, just love. You don't have to speak the language, just love. But as far as if He wants you to lead something or organize something, then He's got to teach you how to do it. And experience is the only real teacher.
That's true.
So it's going to take time. You got to be patient.
So true. Well, that's good. That's really good. Yeah, and can you tell people who did not watch the first video how they can get in touch with you or donate to your ministry? Missionary Father to Orphans on Facebook is the easiest way to find me, and you can donate through paypal.me/orphanfather. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Bill. I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and so, if the Lord is tugging on your heart, and you have a heart and you want to see the lost saved and you want to see children taken off of the street and taken care of, and to be able to provide for someone's future, I just encourage you to donate to Bill's ministry. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a blessed week. Thank you. Bye.